Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Stephen Curry ranks the Golden Dagger from the Olympics as a top 2 shot in his career. Stephen Curry had a legacy-defining moment this summer with his three-point barrage in the gold medal game to defeat France in his first and only Olympic appearance for Team USA. Under Armour asked Steph to rank the Golden Dagger among his best career shots, with Curry putting it in the top 2. It's so memorable because of the build-up to that moment. My first Olympic experience, 4 threes in a row to close out the gold medal game, and the last one, which was kind of a ridiculous shot even by my standards. All that to say, it's like top 2 for sure. I think the OKC game, which wasn't a championship game, but the Mike Breen double bang, just a loud shout for our rise as a team. But I'd say the Golden Dagger is up there, top 2. Curry's three-point explosion against France is among the greatest moments in Team USA Olympic history, as those 12 points helped them put a resilient French team away in Paris. The final shot of the barrage is what's referred to as the Golden Dagger, an incredible heat-check shot over Nicolas Batum and Evan Fournier from way downtown. Speaking of way downtown, that's the other shot Curry had to mention here. His near half-court heave in the 2015-16 season against the OKC Thunder, which helped the Warriors keep the 73-9 regular dream alive, is considered one of the greatest shots in NBA history, and the defining moment in Curry's rise to superstardom. These shots are among a litany of incredible three-pointers made by the league's all-time three-point leader. Hopefully, we see Curry add more such moments before the end of his career and further solidify himself as the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. Curry was surrounded by some of the best players in the world when he went on his shooting spree against France. The likes of LeBron James and Kevin Durant just watched as their teammate Curry went off in what Durant later called the greatest heat check of all time. I've seen so many from Stephen Curry now, but that was on this stage, in his first Olympics, the world watching, especially after doing what he did in the last game, against Serbia, to follow it up again, that's probably the greatest. James wasn't just a teammate watching the show during that moment, making crucial off-ball plays at Curry's discretion to help the Warriors star get the opportunities he needed to make more shots. USA Basketball Steve Kerr said Stephen Curry requested during a timeout to run the pick-and-roll with LeBron James that set up one of his dagger threes to beat France. I said, okay, let's do that. It's been a month since that performance, but it has become the lasting memory of the summer for most fans. With NBA preseason less than a month away, fans will be looking forward to seeing what Curry can achieve in his first season in 13 years without Klay Thompson. 7 things that need to happen for the Warriors to contend this year. The Golden State Warriors will not open the 2024-25 NBA season as contenders. That much should be abundantly clear after they limped their way into the 10th seed in the Western Conference, were obliterated and embarrassed by the Sacramento Kings in their lone postseason game, and then started the offseason by losing their second-best scorer and their 6th man. They recouped some of those losses with a series of laudable moves, but in the absence of landing a big fish, try as they might have for Lauri Markkanen and Paul George, the Warriors didn't do enough to regain contender status. Not yet, at least. No one viewed the Warriors as contenders when the 2014-15 season began, and they marched to a dynasty kickstarting championship. Few people thought the Dubs were contenders when the 2021-22 season got underway, yet there they were in June, hoisting a 4th title above their heads. That's where the Warriors sit entering the upcoming season, which begins in just a month and a half. No one outside of those wearing suspiciously tinted glasses would smack the contender label on Golden State, but they're close enough to contention that, with some convincing wins, they could emerge as worthy title challengers by the time game number 83 makes its way around. So that's the hope. But it's never easy. Here are 7 things that need to happen if the Dubs want to become genuine contenders this season, though it's worth noting that a few of these things could be negated by an, admittedly unlikely, blockbuster trade. I'm assuming that one won't happen, but you just never know. No one expects Curry to retire with more than the 2 MVPs he already has on his mantle. And truthfully, him winning another MVP this year might be a bad thing, since it might signal that the Warriors are overly reliant on him. But there's a big difference between being a top 5 player and a top 15 player, and where Curry lands on that spectrum will heavily influence the season. Curry entered the All-Star break last season averaging 28.0 points per game, while shooting 42.1% from three-point range. After the break, however, those numbers dipped to 23.1 and 37.9%. As such, Curry's all-around metrics dipped from where we've grown accustomed to seeing him. By estimated plus-minus, widely considered the top all-in-one metric in the NBA, Curry was the 12th best player in the league last season. No one would be even remotely disappointed if Curry had another such season this year, but the Warriors aren't good enough to win a title with their best player being a star. He needs to be a superstar. Nick Young claims Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal-led Lakers would lose to 2018 Warriors in 5 games. Nick Young took to X to double down on his recent comments about the 2018 Golden State Warriors. While he respected the Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant-era Lakers, Young noted that their team took massive losses to teams like the 2004 Detroit Pistons. He added that the Warriors would beat both teams in 5 games. "I love the Lakers, but the Shaq and Kobe team is not beating the 2017-18 Warriors. All this Shaq is the most dominant big ever stuff. They lost to Billups, Hamilton, Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and Ben Wallace 4-1. Respectfully, Warriors in 5 on both teams." These comments come after Young faced backlash for calling the 2018 Golden State Warriors the greatest team of all time. He explained, during an appearance on Gil's Arena, that the Shaq-Kobe Lakers didn't have the players available to guard elite shooters like Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson. Young might be slightly biased, considering he was part of the 2018 Golden State Warriors squad that won the NBA championship. However, his argument does have merit, as many do consider the KD Curry Warriors to be one of, if not the greatest team in league history. The arrival of Durant in Golden State was met with widespread league dismay, as one of the best teams in the NBA at the time had added a top 3 player in the league, giving the franchise a duo comprising of 2 of the 3 best players in the NBA at the time. It meant the rest of the league couldn't compete with them. And that turned out to be the case, as the only team to usurp the Warriors in a playoff series during KD's stint there was the Toronto Raptors, and they were only able to do so due to the major injuries suffered by Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. In the past few months, many have claimed that the Warriors' dynasty is now over. After the abrupt departure of Klay Thompson in free agency, the core of the Warriors franchise was broken up. With just Stephen Curry and Draymond Green remaining, and no other superstar prospects on the horizon, the Warriors' dynastic, championship-laden run in the NBA might be over. Stephen Curry, however, doesn't believe this to be the case and thinks the Warriors still have it in them to contend for an NBA championship next season. He might disagree with the franchise's assessment that their roster, as presently constructed, cannot compete for a championship. The Warriors haven't landed another star player, but not because of a lack of effort. They were rebuffed in their efforts to trade for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen. The franchise may look to wait till the season begins, as one star player or more may become available after demanding an exit. Landing another superstar and extending the Warriors' championship window is perhaps the only way to ensure Stephen Curry remains a Warrior for life, something he said recently that he wants to do. But he will most likely look for greener pastures if the franchise cannot compete for more championships. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Nick Young? Leave your opinion in the comments.